So Heather, I'm so excited to be here with you today in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Beautiful day.
It is, it is. It's already, fall is already done in Colorado. So as soon as I crossed the border, I got fall all over again.
I bet it was a beautiful drive.
It was, it was. So I'm so excited to be here with you. You are one of our wonderful, honored, revered SAI, Spiritual Approach to Intervention providers. And we've been working together for how long now? How long?
Wow, since the spring?
Yeah, I think it was springtime that we were in touch, and you decided that SAI was something that you might like to know more about, so maybe you could integrate it in your practice. So could you just tell me and tell the nice people who are listening what exactly your practice is and kind of what made you come to the spiritual approach to what you're doing in your work?
So I have a private practice, and I'm a therapist. I work with mental health, and the majority of my clients are kids that have been through trauma, foster care, adoption, abuse, neglect. That's kind of been always what I've been drawn to. I worked in the adoption industry for a very long time, so I've always been around children that have dealt with attachment issues and trauma. Those are two issues that when you go directly in, don't have really fast or good results, right? So when I started looking at trauma, mindfulness was introduced almost immediately because cognitively speaking, you don't talk directly to the person about their trauma, right? Because that just reinforces and it brings it all back up.
Right, right.
So you begin to do things like guided imagery and meditation, and so that was kind of my introduction to the concept of approaching things spiritually.
Okay.
And then my youngest child, I have three children. Two of them are adopted, and my youngest child is definitely has more of the attachment and definite trauma, and he has been very good at expressing his pain and his anger. And so through Chinook Spirit Children's Academy, which is where my little one goes, I was introduced to you. And I remember when I first went to your teaching, because you did that wonderful, I just, it was an awakening for me. It was the beginning of this awakening. And as the teachers worked with my youngest son with the SAI approach, I noticed immediate changes. And then they kind of gave me some tools. And then I began to work with my son at home. And then I began talking to you. And I realized, oh my goodness, I have a tool, an incredible tool that I can use in my practice. And so that's why I chose to learn from you and be certified through you, because I wanted to reach my clients on a level that brought true healing. And it's awesome.
And so are you.
Yeah.
Well, and just to explain to the folks that in some of the other videos they'll watch, that we actually interviewed the teachers and the founders of Chinook Children's Academy, which is located in Albuquerque, and they're using the spiritual approach to intervention and other spiritual modalities and alternative modalities, and integrating that into education in the elementary years, and completely certified and having amazing results. So I was so excited to meet you as a parent and as a professional.
Yeah.
So one of the things that without fail, every single one of our providers that are certifying, and with me not being an exception, as we start learning how to apply these tools with our kids and with our clients, we find out, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we need to kind of do some internal work and use the tools, kind of, it's like, this power tool. It's kind of like we have to turn the power tool on ourselves.
Absolutely.
Right? So do you have a comment about that? What was your kind
absolutely.
of first, realization? I think it almost sneaks up on us. Okay, I'm going to get these tools and I'm going to use them with my clients. I'm using them with my kids, and it's like, oh my gosh, I have to use them on me first.
Absolutely.
So could you give us an example of that?
Yeah, obviously having my child go to a school that has a spiritual approach. Obviously, I've been very open and always seeking to become more aware and to become more in touch with my spirit self and less in touch with my physical self, right? And it's been really interesting because I come from a background of everything really being rooted in the physical. And so it's been a huge awakening for me. And so I was on that journey already. And what has been so fantastic about this is, for me, two things have just been remarkable. I mean, I want to name them all, but I'll try to narrow it down to just the two. And the first thing that came for me was the bridge. When you had me go meet me and my spirit self, that was life-changing. I mean, it's so interesting because when I meet people that are more in touch with the spirit, they see things in me, and I am like, what? Huh? I get really confused. And then when I met her, I went, oh! I was like, yeah, that is you.
Now you see what everyone else was seeing. And I see your eyes lighting up when you're talking about it. So let me just tell the people who are listening to, in case they haven't, and you can go, on the YouTube channel and go into the description of the bridge meditation. And what Heather's talking about is we build this metaphysical bridge in a visualization, and we go over the bridge, and typically we're meeting a child who is distant from us, or we're meeting a child and their spiritual self, so they can show us maybe what they can't show us in the physical, and it's part of the therapeutic process. So I don't know where this came from. It came from wherever anything else comes from. So when I said, Heather, go across the bridge and meet yourself, meet your true self, your beautiful self. And you did.
And I painted her.
And you painted a picture of her.
And I am not an artist at all. I just needed to express her.
And so where is she now? Did you bring her back over? Did you bring pieces of her? Or do you just, leave that perfect self there for observation? Do you bring her into your work, into your parenting? What do you feel?
So I have definitely brought her strength with me. I did not realize how strong I am. I just never knew that. I know I've been through some extremely painful seasons and some extremely challenging life challenges, and people had always commented on that, and I just didn't get it until I saw her. So she definitely, I reach out to her for strength, and I go to see her, is what I usually do.
Okay. Yeah.
And I talk to her, and I have her take me places. I have her go with me when I want to talk to a client on a spiritual level, across the bridge when I want to talk with a child or my child or people in my life, personal life, all of that. So yeah, I guess I go to her and she takes me where we need to go.
Well, and I have a secret I have to tell you.
Oh dear.
Let me tell everybody. When I suggested that you do that, I had never done it myself.
No.
No, seriously. I mean, just
I thought you were like the
No.
Oh yeah, I go see myself all the time.
that perfect me, that goddess, that queen. Yeah, no.
Wow.
And so when you painted the visual of that, it's like, well, I guess maybe it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's my turn. And because of that, I have then opened so much more and so many new ideas for this approach, and so much more connection and letting go in my own life came as a result of that.
That's
So
beautiful.
I think we have to bring that up. We have to bring that there's you. We have 12 other certified providers from Denver to Shanghai that have gone through this process. But whenever we go through the process together, we come up with something new for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Wow.
really,
it's
really
it's
amazing.
endless. It's limitless.
It is, yeah.
Wow.
It really is. So you said there were two things.
Oh.
There's one other thing you want to
Yes,
share?
as you know, when I was getting certified, the concept of the marquee was a struggle for me. I really couldn't stay in my third eye. Like, I really struggled with seeing the clients or anybody that came across and stay there. Even for seconds. Like, it was a challenge for me. And when you suggested to me to have them, to look at them as newborns, as babies, as the form that they came in before life began to happen, right, for them, that has just been so amazing for me to be able to love in this unconditional way.
Yeah, and and briefly, the marquee is when we're running our thoughts, even though our body language, we can control that, and we control the words we say. And it's not that we're being judgmental towards our clients or towards our children or one another, but we tend to worry in our thoughts. We tend to, oh, here comes this person again, and I hope I can help them, and I hope they're not in this state again, and I hope they're not thinking about, God forbid, hurting themselves,
Right.
or and so the trouble with that is that, and what the trouble you were having, and that we all have, it wasn't your own issue, is that to stop that and to run more positive, more light-filled thoughts, because you can't stop anything. We have to replace it with something. And so you and I were trying to figure out, okay, so what can you replace that with? And that's what you're replacing it with. You're replacing it as seeing them as their, instead of trying to roll it to the future, of seeing their healed self, which some practitioners do and can do. You weren't finding that very helpful. And so instead, you turned back the clock and saw them as their original perfected.
Yeah.
So
it's just because ultimately that's that's the healed person as well, right? So,
right.
And obviously love is the ultimate healer, right? So, that was such a gift for me.
So anything, what I hear you saying is anything that we can do, whatever tool we pull, or as we did together and as you've done, you took a tool and you sort of tweaked it to what would work for you and in your life better, then any tool that we can have that can evoke that feeling of unconditional love when someone is in our presence is in and of itself what this process is about, and what's really healing about it. And when that we apply SAI to just about every field anymore. Pediatricians are using it, and in general education. But initially, I put this process together to work with children on the autism spectrum. And this group of kids really taught us how to do this, because they've come to us with some real challenges and some challenging behaviors. And so our tendency is to look at them as problems to solve. But when they're in our presence and we look at them as a problem to solve, they know it. And so using this one tool, and so if the folks listening, I think if they go away with one thing, it might be that wonderful tool of remember that baby, remember that perfect child, and know that that perfect baby is still there. And the behaviors and everything else around it, whether it's an autistic child, a typically developing child, or an adult that is having severe problems. What is beyond that baby is only the call for that unconditional love. Yeah.
It helps to let go of the results.
Yes.
Right? It helps in letting go of the results.
And just being, being that energy. Well, I'm so excited to have talked with you about this. I hope that folks listening, I think they have two things to go away with, and that's that beautiful baby meditation, and that's imagine a bridge and go over that bridge and find that self that everybody else is seeing in you, just like Heather did, that you may not see in yourself right now. And
definitely do it.
It's liberating, isn't it?
It
It feels
so
great. All right. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, just grateful for you.
Oh, grateful for you, my dear. I love you.
Love you too.